Hey, welcome back to another episode of the MindShare podcast. This show is sponsored by Kit's Keep in Touch Systems, a two-time international award-winning marketing suite for sales professionals. REM, Real Estate Magazine, Canada's premier monthly magazine for real estate professionals. And the ORCF, the Ontario Realtors Care Foundation, enabling and empowering realtors across Ontario to fundraise in support of shelter-related causes in the communities in which they live and work. You can learn more about all of our sponsors by visiting my site, mindshare101.com. Today's episode is number 299. Val has been a highly successful Waterloo Region realtor for 30 years. Having herself experienced moving 18 times in 21 years, this was a big part of why she decided that pursuing this career was a clear fit. She is a helper by nature and takes great joy in standing beside her clients as they buy or sell residential real estate. A twice past president of the Cambridge Real Estate Association, she has also volunteered as a director with Community Living Cambridge, as well as the Alzheimer's Association and Hope Springs. When not working, she enjoys riding her motorcycle, and she is an enthusiastic participant in Royal LePage fundraising rides for RLP Shelter Foundation and Women's Crisis Services of Waterloo Region, organizations that are both working to prevent and alleviate the effects of violence against women. She has ridden all around Canada and beyond, including Tuktoyaktuk, the Himalayas, and Colombia. Ben has been a realtor in the Peterborough area for 14 years, and one of his key pillars are community support and involvement. As an avid motorcyclist for over 20 years, he says he would rather be on a bike any day than in the coolest car. From a quick ride to the store to trips across the country, any time on a bike is a good time for him. And this is exactly why he is incredibly excited to be part of the Realtors Care Ride again this year. Joining me on this episode of the MindShare podcast are Realtor Val Brooks and Realtor Ben vanVeen. Val, Ben, welcome to the MindShare podcast.
Thank you.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Guys, I'm super pumped. We are like literally counting down the days until we get on the road to raise awareness and a whole bunch of money for an amazing cause, specifically to support shelter-related causes in the communities in which we live and work. Now, Val, I remember meeting you back in 2016 in Las Vegas at a conference that we were both at, and we got to spend 2 days prior to that with a great group of folks as we rode through the desert, the Grand Canyon, the Hoover Dam together. Ben, you and I got to meet last year on this very ride we're going to be talking about today. It is so great to have you both on the show. And as I read through each of your bios, you're very much involved in giving back across so many different causes. And we know that right now, although economics are difficult, even though rates came down today, but things are more difficult for most people than they have been in some time. We also know how busy people are out there with their day-to-day lives. I'm curious to know from both of you, why do you support shelter-related or shelter-based charities? And what is the need like here in Ontario? Val, do you want to get us started with that one?
I think the reason why many of us do, first of all, being in real estate, I mean, we work with it every day. So when it's part of why we do what we do as far as our living and our career, helping, my motto is making houses homes. And that's what I love doing. And my heart goes out to many then who don't have the either availability of funds or whatever, even a job to be able to get the availability of funds. It hits close to home when what we do, we can't help many who don't have shelter.
It's incredible, right? Like, yeah, like and this is what we do. And this is, I got to tell you, for me, this is what I love about this particular foundation. We as an industry, we come together, forget that. We as an industry, we actually work pretty solo every single day, right? We're out there helping our clients. We're out there trying to make a difference. We're out there trying to help people get into homes. Yet we know there's such an issue with shelter for so many different people. And this particular foundation gives us the opportunity as an industry to come together and raise funds, raise awareness, and try to get roofs over as many people's heads as we possibly can. I mean, and it's not just the roofs, but it's all sorts of shelter-related costs.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I believe, and it would be tough to argue against what I believe in this sense is that, safe shelter is a human right. So, working to support, people who work tirelessly day in and day out to make sure as much as they can that people have those rights fulfilled, is very important to me. And, we work very personally as realtors in our communities, and these communities give us so much. They give us an income, they give us contacts, they give us a social life. And so, we need to give back to those communities that are intertwined with our business lives and our personal lives.
I couldn't agree with both of you. And again, this is for me what was so key about this particular foundation is that that's exactly what we're doing. We are supporting, we are out there. Yes, Ben, just essentially how you just said, it supports us. Now this is our way to give back. So Ben, what would you say in terms of motorcycle ride for charity? Was last year your first year on that particular ride, on this particular ride?
It was, yeah. And it was actually my first group ride ever. I've been riding motorcycles over 20 years. But I'm an ADV guy. I like my off-road riding. I like the solitude of it quite often. Mostly I just ride with maybe one or two other people, but usually it's by myself. And I ride to commute, and I just it's a tool for me as well, riding motorcycles, not just for fun. So, and not a big joiner of big groups. So that was actually my first group ride. And I found out, I forget how I heard about it. I cannot recall. But I thought, well, the raising money for shelter-based charities and organizations kind of overrode my lack of enthusiasm for group rides. And I'm glad I did, because I had such a fantastic time. It was such a good time. Very well done. And, so very happy to have done it, and couldn't wait to get back into it today, this year.
You know what? I would double down on that. I thought it was fantastic. I thought that, getting to meet the people, getting to hang out with people. I thought getting around to the different, all the different stops that we made along the way and how many people were out there to support. It was a very cool feeling. I, like you, I have not been a big fan of group riding, only for the fact that, I don't know. I like to ride. I like to ride hard, but at the same time too, you don't know necessarily who you're riding with all the time when you do a big group. You don't know people's levels of experiences. I did find, though, however, there were a lot of experienced riders on the ride. There was a lot of people that did know what they were up to, which was fantastic. Now, Val, what would you, if I said to you, like, what is the motorcycle ride for charity? How would you define that?
Oh, good question. Because that's different than, I think, perhaps why we do it,
right?
To what it is. But certainly the ride for charity, I think, is a means to getting the word out there. Number one, what the Ontario Real Estate Association, like what the Realtor Care Ride is all about. So it helps, because there's many riders, so we can all talk about it. But it's also a way of those of us who love to ride have a way of using our passion to give back to helping others. And obviously we do other ways of giving back in the other charities. I've certainly sat on it. It doesn't come down to riding, which is why I guess my heart is in this. I get to do what I love to do, which I didn't start till later in life, unlike Ben, who's been doing it a long time. Well, I guess years why. I went and got my motorcycle license when I was turning 50. Actually, I went and bought my bike first, a Honda Shadow 750, had it delivered to my house when I turned 50. And I thought, if I had the bike, I'll get my license. And I did that. And my first big group ride was this ride.
I was about to say to you, didn't you say to me at one point, like, you got the license and you did all this because of this particular ride?
I absolutely did. I was president at the time of Cambridge. And I was living 5 minutes from the board office, and I thought, okay, I'm not really riding, but I can do this. I rode the 5 minutes from my house to the Cambridge board office. I just wanted the photo op. I wanted my picture on the bike to say, yeah, this is what I did. And anyway, from there, Richard Hawkins was there, as I think I know you. We both know Richard or whatever. Yep. Of course, he is with Royal LePage, and that was 17 years ago. Now I just gave my age away, so you know how long I've been riding. And when I started,
I was going to say you've only been riding 2 years. That's great.
But I ended up, they talked me into going to the Kitchener board office from Cambridge. Okay, yeah, I can do this. They talked me going to Chatham. By the end of the day, on my first day of big ride ever, I rode all the way to Grand Bend. None of them then had to turn around and ride home because they had all accommodations for the night, but I then had to turn around and ride back again. But that honestly got me started. And I've never, and a great bunch of people, which is why I've stayed connected. And it certainly gave to my heart about why we do what we're doing.
And you got your vest on, and I know you've got your nickname that the RLP Foundation gave you of Duchess. Yes. But like, yeah. I mean, this is what it turns into, is like, you get it. And first of all, congratulations to you for having the nerve to get on two wheels, just for the sake of like even thinking to yourself, I want to get the photo op. Look, I am not surprised what a motorcycle did to you at that point. It turns into a love. It turns into a passion. I mean, Ben, as you said, like, I'd rather be on a bike any day rather than in a car.
Yeah.
I had never been on the back of a bike. So this was the first time I had ever been on a bike.
Well, I'll tell you this. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it was just, what do I want to do now that if I don't do now, I'll never do? And that kind of hit the list, and that's the one I made work.
It's funny because it reminded me of Shannon last year, and Shannon's obviously an integral player in putting this entire event together. Never mind just the event, but the foundation itself. She's absolutely amazing, and she actually jumped on the bike for her first time last year as well on this ride. So I would say to anybody, if you're sitting here going, this sounds interesting. It sounds like these people have a lot of fun. It is a ton of fun. And if you've never been on the back of the bike, but you'd like to ride, reach out to the foundation, figure out how you can get involved, how you can be part of it, whose bike you might be able to jump on. By any means, there's a lot of different ways to get involved. And in fact, I'm going to come out very bluntly and say it, that we are very much here today on this particular show, on the podcast, on the MindShare podcast, talking about the Motorcycle Ride for Charity put on by the Ontario Realtors Care Foundation. And we're working to get the word out. That's what this is all about. We're working to get the word out. We're working to get, raise awareness. We're working to get people involved, and we are working to raise a ton of money. So everybody that is tuned in right now, okay, I want you guys, I'm going to ask you guys, please, okay, I'm putting the link up on the show right now. It's right here at the bottom of the page. Go to that link. Have I got it? Yeah. realtorscareontario.ca/ride. Okay. You can go there. You can choose any rider that you want to pledge. You can go ahead and make a general donation. You can get involved and say, hey, you want to be a rider. But I'm going to say it to you, everybody, anything big or small, pledge any of us as a rider. Again, we each have our own pages. Whatever it is, 25, 50, 100, 500, $1 million. We're okay. We'll take whatever you got. And all jokes aside, we really are. We're asking for your support today. By the end of this show, we really want to see our grand total go up. And I know we have an amazing industry. I know every single one of you in this industry, especially those of you tuned in right now. I know things have been tougher out there. I know it's been slower. I know it might not be the year that you're expecting to have. Give and you shall receive. Don't just give to receive. But the more that you get out there and you help others, the more good things happen and come back to you. So come on, everybody, let's do this, okay? Go over to the link on this page right now. Get involved in the ride. Pledge any one of us or get involved yourself. We want to see this total amount go up. We want to do this within the next 40 minutes or so. We want to see some good stuff happening. I know Stacy's watching in the background. Stacy, take a toll. Make sure that we know where we were at when we started, and let's figure out what we're going to get to when we're done here. But guys, tell me this,
Sorry, can I jump in there? I want to give some incentive here.
Oh, I like this.
Okay,
I know where this is going.
And not just during the show, you can donate whenever, right up to the ride or probably even after. All the donations on my page up to $1,500, I'll match dollar for dollar. So if all of you donate up to $1,500, more would be great. Then it's like we're raising $3,000 just on my page alone. So donations totaling up to $1,500, I'll match dollar for dollar. So we'll have at least $3,000 just on that page. And then there's all the other riders too raising money.
Thank you. I'd like to diddle that too. So whatever, Ben said on his page, on my page, I'm going to do exactly the same thing for the amount that was put out there. So you've got two of us doubling our donations in support of this ride. We need your help.
Awesome.
Guys, you know what? That is amazing, both of you. Absolutely amazing. I know last year we crushed it. Everybody together, we hit it out of the park. We raised more money that's been raised on this event before. And hey, we're looking to do the same thing this year. And I mean, I remember even last year when we all got together, at the end, everybody just started like piling on more, and we all just sat there sort of having a good time. If you guys remember at the end, like when the ride was over,
yeah,
it's like, okay, where are we at?
And then we raised a bunch of money from Realtors. Yeah.
Right. Remember that? Now I just saw, if you guys are watching the live feed right now through my Facebook page, especially, we just put up that, and this is very cool. And I guess this is probably a good opportunity to talk about the routes that we're going to get into. In Barrie is going to have a vintage bike display courtesy of BDAR, the Barrie and District Association of Realtors. So that is super cool. I am looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to seeing what's going on there. But I guess to that, Val, tell us what route you're going to be taking this year, and tell us about the route. Like, why have you chosen? Why are you going that way?
Well, to be bluntly honest, I personally didn't plan the route. I leave that to somebody who's done all the rides and know that. But we are starting at my Royal LePage office, actually in Waterloo at Royal LePage Woolley. Mark and Jen there are great and very, very generous. And we've got breakfast that's happening there at 8 o'clock on the 12th. So if you're interested, it's the Waterloo office, not Kitchener, so make sure you get that straight. But it's breakfast at 8 o'clock and kickstands up at 9 o'clock. Heading then out, a number of stops along the way in a beautiful country route. I don't know, riders know the Forks of the Credit, so if you know that route, that's certainly part of our route on the way up towards Barrie, where we're going to have lunch, hosted by the association there. Looking for, and of course the vintage bikes there that are going to be there, car ride, or I guess that was you said, and then ending up in Peterborough. It's going to be a fantastic ride. The biggest thing to me is not just the ride, though. It's the networking with people. It's the meeting new people. It's the seeing people we haven't seen since the last ride or years back if you're not always there every year. So it's just so much to look forward to and exciting.
It's you know what, I'm looking forward to. I've done the Forks of the Credit. I would say that it is a beautiful scenic little ride. I am not 100% sure what the route is either, but I know from where I'm at, where we're located, and Jennifer, my wife, many of you know her, she's going to be on the ride with me. So she's going to be on the back of the bike with me, and she's kind of mad at me. It's her first ride of the season. Normally we get a little bit more time, but this year we haven't had enough time to get out there together. But no, she's going to be riding with me. We, Val, will be with you. So we are going to be meeting you in Waterloo that morning, and looking forward to, heading from that side and going east towards Peterborough, where we are going to wrap up our ride that night. And we're going to meet up our other group of riders who are starting in the east and coming west. So Ben, tell us about the route you'll be taking this year.
Yeah, it's really exciting. We've pretty much gotten it buttoned up. I know Richard actually drove it the other day, and we're going to tweak some things to avoid some traffic lights and whatnot leaving Ottawa. But yeah, starting just west of Ottawa, actually, we're going to be starting at the Canada Golf and Country Club out on Campo Drive or Campo. So there at 8 o'clock, there's breakfast, registration, just getting to know people. I went last year, started at the Whitby Yacht Harbor, and I didn't know anybody. And you just go and it's realtors. It's our job just to go sit down, like, hey, who are you? This is who I am. What do you do? And you just start feeling good right away. So it's nice to have that registration time, hour and a half, whatever it is, just to figure out who you're riding with. If you're going there alone, you won't be alone very long. So if you're thinking about signing up for this ride, one, you don't have to be a realtor. You can just join the ride. If you're a business person, do business in real estate, great networking for you. But if you go alone, you're not going to be alone for long. So we're starting at Canada Golf and Country Club. The first leg is down to Smiths Falls, nice little town of Smiths Falls, winding our way, avoiding highways. We pretty much all day, except for one little bit on the 401. It's all like maximum 80, those type highways. Then we'll be stopping at Lower Reach Park in Smiths Falls by about 10 o'clock and leave hopefully by around 10:30. So there'll be a break there. It's really, really scenic. And then we're headed off to the Smoke and Barrel restaurant in Kingston for a nice lunch. Hopefully we'll be there just over an hour. We'll head out of Kingston, and then we're going to, there's a gas stop at the en route on the 401. Kind of avoidable for a gas stop. That's the way the route's working. But if you don't like riding on the 401, you're going to be in a group. Don't worry about it. We'll keep it easy in the right lane. And it's only for, I think it's under 10 kilometers total that we're on. Gas up there. And actually I should say, I'm going to rewind a bit. Sorry. Out of Kingston, we're going to be going all down through Prince Edward County, heading west along the lake. It's going to be beautiful, scenic. We're jumping on the Glenora Ferry, jumping over and then up in through Prince Edward County. It's a beautiful area, beautiful ride, beautiful real estate down there too for you realtors who want to check it out if you're not from the area. Then up to the en route. And then from there, we'll weave our way up to Shorelines Casino in Peterborough, where we will be received. We're going to hang out, meet everyone from the Western route. It'll be great to see, talk about different experiences from the day. I think there'll be a check presentation. And then the casino is hosting us for a fantastic dinner. And then it's party time if you want.
I love it, man. Dude, like I'm almost like, man, should I go to the eastern route? Should I go to the western route? I'm having like trouble with this one now. Val, are we headed through Algonquin? Are we going up through that? Like, do we come through there at all?
Yes, we do. And actually, I just lost the map. I had it up in front of me, and now it's not in front of me. And then there are, and you have done, Ben, a much nicer job of lining out that route. And I'm going to say, I guess from the Western's perspective, it can be more of a surprise to see where we're going because I didn't lay it out.
So you're telling me, Dave, stay on the Western one. We'll be fine. It's going to be a great ride.
It is, and it is all laid out, and I have every confidence in certainly who has laid it out. And I don't know all those roads, so unlike what Richard has done and certainly ridden them, I'm looking forward because they are on roads, some of them brand new to me, and I've ridden a lot, but looking at the route, it's new to me as well.
And
I am sorry. Go for it, Ben.
Sorry, if people joining the ride, don't worry. Like we send out GPX files beforehand, so you can load it into your GPS device or onto your GPS app on your phone, whatever you use, if it's Gaia, Revver, whatever. And then, and if you're not using that, just follow the leader. You'll get there.
You know what? I would say that first, all jokes aside, I'm still starting in the West coming East. But I am excited for the route. Ben, you did a fantastic job describing it. And Val, I like that it's like, you're going to have to wait to see. One thing that I'm 100% confident in is going to be absolutely gorgeous. I have not been involved in the organization of the route, but I know that there were some chitter chatter around like where it should be. And if sort of things lend to what, original plans look like, it is going to be spectacular. And I personally have done some of those roads, probably most of those roads, and I would ride them all day back and forth if I could, and didn't have to worry about, actually like making a living and doing things that support anything else, but just riding a motorcycle. Ben, I'm sure you can concur on that.
Absolutely. The Western route, you guys are going to be coming through Fenland Falls near the end of it, that area. And I was up there just the other day with a client, and the leaves are starting to change. So by next week, it's going to be beautiful.
Oh, it's going to be
for all the leaves
nice
for you Western folks to drive through, and on the East too. it's just a little bit that further north that it's just going to be, you know, blazing trees for you guys.
You know, Ben, you mentioned, sorry, this is your second year on this ride, right?
Yeah.
And you talked about when we met up last year at the Whitby Yacht Club, and we had actually all met up in one central location. It was a 2-day ride last year, so we all met up in one place. And I got to tell you, much like you, anticipation-wise, I didn't know what to expect. You know, you went there knowing you didn't know any, but what was the feeling before you got there? Was there any hesitation in terms of like, you know, signing up for the ride and maybe what if I don't know people? What if anything? I mean, what if, you know, I can't ride as well as others, or what kind of anticipation were you feeling on sort of, I guess, leading up to getting there? And
Well, I
how
wasn't
was it when
worried.
you got there? How does that change?
Yeah, I mean, never any butterflies or worried because I've never been accused of overthinking anything at all. I just kind of do things, sometimes to my detriment. But anyway, so I just do it. I'm like, I'll figure it out. But mostly that's who I am. But I think that if someone's not like that, also good for you. It's less stressful. But it was so well organized beforehand. The communication from the Ontario Realtors Care Foundation staff running this, like so many emails, having the route ahead of time, that I felt like, okay, well, this is obviously well organized. I just had that feeling of already being part of it before I showed up that morning. You know what I mean? So I wasn't worried because it was obvious that, you know, a good captain was at the helm, and that's all the staff at the foundation. Yeah. So just join and go along for the ride.
You know, I would say to you that again, leading up to it, it was one of those where I had, I guess, no animosity about the ride itself. It was more about getting there on time. And I will say, you know, you get there and there's obviously going to be some people that are already there. There's going to be some people that roll in probably after you roll in. And I'm talking to like the general you to everybody right now. You know, it's just be there somewhat on time, you know, come prepared to have a little bit of breakfast because there will be some stuff served. There's a good coffee, there's good, you know, pastries and stuff to get you fueled up. You could take some snacks on the road with you as well. So you've got something to munch on. But I remember breakfast being a lot of fun, you know, because you walk in almost thinking to yourself, you don't know who's going to be there. You're not sure if there's going to be anybody you know. And sure, in some cases, for some people, they may show up and not know anybody. I happened to walk in and realize, oh my God, look how many people I do know. Regardless, the people that I got to meet while riding, that was very different. Because although I knew some people, it was how well do you know some of those people? And then there was others that you just don't know at all. But very, very quickly, everybody gets to know each other in a really cool way because everybody's there together. We're all there for the same cause. We're all there to raise awareness, raise money. We're all there to have a great ride. And it literally is like one big, you know, group of people that are there together. You know, from a ride perspective, as you're riding along, nobody's getting left behind. You know, there's always people communicating sort of middle or front, middle, back of the pack to make sure that if we get sort of separated at red lights or turnoffs or anything, that there's a lot of communication to ensure that everybody's going to be, you know, knowing where they got to go. Nobody's going to get lost. And of course, the riding, again, we do everything we possibly can to be as safe as possible. You know, so we've got some very, very experienced riders on the ride. That are going to help, you know, captain and lead the ship and make sure that everybody's doing great, you know. And I can say, I mean, Val, again, when we go back to 2016 riding a motorcycle, that's where you and I met in Vegas. And ever since, I know Jen's been following you and we've sort of kept in touch from afar. You know, Ben, you and I got to meet directly on the ride last year and sort of, you know, lightheartedly stayed in touch ever since. You know, so you start to develop rapport and build relationships with people well beyond business. And I do want to reinforce this right now for everybody. You know, our industry is a people business. And Ben, you already said it a moment ago, like as you get out there and you start to network with people, you start to meet people, it's powerful. But you're doing it in a very comfortable space where you all have a you know, something like-minded, something in common with each other, but it's got nothing to do with business. So the guards are dropped. You're just there to have a good time. But you actually build real rapport. You actually get to know who that person is. And I mean, it opens up a world of opportunities, right? It really does.
Well, that's what I mean. That's what's so fantastic. Another fantastic thing about the ride is that it's win-win-win. I mean, when we do deals as realtors, if every side's winning, that's a perfect deal, right? And this is we're winning because we get to ride motorcycles.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Your business can win because you're networking if you want. Like it wasn't pressure or anything. It was just networking. And then we're also, just by doing that, we're raising a whole bunch of money. It's up to all of you out there to raise that money, but we're working to raise money to give to the people that do the real work of putting roofs over people's heads. And so it's win-win-win-win-win.
And David, going back to what you had said earlier, even in the start of the podcast, about it being challenging, and maybe some haven't made the same amount of money as they have in the past, or the housing situation, obviously, for so many. There's so many challenges out there. And although riding in Ontario perhaps isn't one of the biggest challenges I have faced in riding, especially having just come back from Colombia. But that being said, those places kind of take me out of my comfort zone in riding. But even while we were there, and yet you say, why do you do things like this that do take you out of your comfort zone? And maybe even the ride like we're doing now out of the comfort zone is, I really can't afford the time, or, I've put so much into other things. Certainly, the money isn't always there. But I kind of look at it differently. For as much as I look at those things might be challenging, our challenges and pain that, yes, we did get in some of those places we've been to on the challenge rides, pale in comparison to why we are doing these rides. Like those people every day that are facing the hardships. For the Royal LePage shelter ride, of course, it is domestic-based violence, but it's still shelter. It's shelter for people doing that. For this ride, it's certainly anything connected with shelter. Though that kind of pain those people are feeling, they feel every day. And every dollar we hope to raise, and we are raising on doing things like this, is going to make a difference in somebody's life. We might not be able to help everyone, but we can help somebody.
It's amazing you bring that up, because just a moment ago in my head, I was thinking about some of the rides I've been on in the past, and I'm talking just generally. Like I've had the good fortune of riding out to Dawson City, Yukon. I've done St. John's, Newfoundland. I've traveled this country on my motorcycle multiple times. And as you do a ride like that, you can run into a variety of different weather, rain, hail, snow, lightning,
tornadoes,
you name it. Yeah, it can get absolutely wild out there. And what's really cool about what we're going to be doing for this ride, and not, we anticipate the weather's going to be fantastic. What's very cool about this is you're not on the road for days and weeks on end. You're on the road for a day. You're on the road for a number of hours. And when you look at what you just said there, Val, about the fact that so many people struggle so mightily with so many bigger issues than we have. I mean, look how fortunate we are. Ben, you said before, look how lucky we are to get on a motorcycle and be able to, again, raise awareness and raise money to support those people who are having tougher times. I know that any rain that's going to come our way, or could, and I'm not talking just related to this particular ride. I'm talking in general when you're on two wheels. It pales in comparison to how so many people struggle and battle and fight every day for just the bare necessities.
Mm-hmm.
We're super fortunate to be able to do this. We're super fortunate to be able to bring awareness to this. And it is a very cool thing to be involved in. It's a very cool event, and this is where, again, we're asking everybody that's tuned in right now, if you haven't yet, the link is on the bottom of the page right now, www.realtorscareontario.ca/ride. Please go over there. We're asking for anything, big or small, anything you can do to, again, donate some dollars, get involved, join us on the ride. I mean, you just heard about the two routes we're taking. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Ben, you mentioned you guys are stopping for lunch at a certain, would you say, a smokehouse or something?
Yeah, what's it called? I think it's Smoke and Barrel. Yeah.
Okay, right. That's what you said.
Yeah.
It's I remember last year when we stopped for lunch at this wicked little spot that was on the water. All the bikes pulled up, everybody was hanging out, just talking. And the next thing you know, we're sitting down having lunch, and it's like everybody's just kind of spread out through this amazing little restaurant. The food was fantastic. Um, and I mean, not to get into full detail, but we were having a ton of fun together. And like remembering that again, most of the people on this ride just kind of really sort of met each other that day. You get very tight very quickly with a whole bunch of people, and you start to realize like it's almost like, why was I even thinking twice about joining or being there?
Yeah, it was really weird. Like at the end of it, we went, Whitby to London and then London to Windsor. And then at the end of the day in Windsor, I was like, we're having dinner. I'm like, how have I only known these people for under 48 hours?
Yeah. Right.
It's a really strange feeling. You nailed it. Like it's so well, but I've known them for years. Yeah, just shared experiences prior will do that, I guess.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like, is there anything that stands out? Like Ben, Val, both of you, I guess I'd ask that. Like, what I guess really stands out to you, maybe about the ride, about this particular event, the people that come together. I know we've been sharing a ton about that today, but maybe a story, something that you recall from last year, even.
I mean, not a specific story, but just the overall organization. I can't say enough how good it is. Like we pulled into a stop, and it's like there were people there, whether it was a brokerage hosting us or Sleeman Brewery. We had a little tour, whatever. It was pretty much dead on time. People were there waiting for us. We didn't have to like just wait around being like, well, what are we doing? What's going on? Because we knew ahead of time. And everyone's smiling. So it was just the organization of it just made it, because I'm like, I said earlier, I don't overthink things. I overthink nothing except timing and organization. And I get itchy. Like if it's not, things aren't running, even if it's not my event, if things aren't running smoothly, I'll get like a little nervous and like, well, what can we do to fix this? And I never had that feeling. It was just relaxed. I didn't even have to say, well, it's not my circus. I don't care, because it wasn't a circus. It was just a finely tuned production. So yeah, that's my main takeaway is how well it was done.
Well said. A finely tuned production. You know what though, man? I doubled down on that, eh?
Lovely. Other than the story, excuse me, I already shared as far as how I started my event and group riding, which certainly was with this foundation. But that was only the beginning, because although I haven't made every year like Richard had, I've certainly done most of them. And it's like a family reunion. Like once you've met somebody, and David, we met, back in 2016 or whatever it is, but you immediately feel like family. And there isn't anything else in any of the other not-for-profit charities or whatever that I get so involved with that I can say I have that same feeling about. There's something about coming together as riders, because we do all have that love. We know it certainly from a different perspective than people in a car sitting out there watching us and what they think about us as a family. I mean, you meet somebody on the road and you've never met them before. If you're riding, all of a sudden there's a connection. So this group, for the 17 years that we've been doing together, it is truly like I feel when I see people next week on Thursday that I haven't seen for years. It doesn't matter. Time makes no difference. We're family, and that feeling to be together and reconnected and stay connected is awesome.
And that family is always looking to grow. There's always space for more family. So
there is.
Absolutely.
I'm on the ride.
Last year when I was leaving, where did we finish off last year?
Windsor.
In Windsor. Forgive me. So as we were leaving Windsor, I know the evening prior to that, when we were at the restaurant, basically doing the big final hurrah. And again, I remember that just being such an amazing, amazing moment. Like I remember we all pulled up. What was the brewery called? Wolf something?
That I can't recall. It was outside Windsor. It was in Point. It was close to Point Pelee.
Oh, it was awesome. Like I just remember, they had like these small batch like bottles of whiskey and just different things. And again, in a fantastic Wolfhead. Thank you. It's called Wolfhead. They had an amazing, amazing event set up for us. Like every stop, and you guys said it, every stop we got to was so well organized. Every time you rolled in, it wasn't like, okay, we pulled up to a parking. It was like you roll in and there are people there. There's music going sometimes. People are clapping. There's flags. There's balloons. There's signs. Like some places had tents. There was refreshments for us. It was absolutely amazing. And I remember getting to Wolfhead, and it was like dinner was there. And everybody going outside at the end to be able to, again, figure out what was our tally? What did we accomplish here? How much money did we raise? By the way, if you haven't gone to the link yet, go to the link, realtorscareontario.ca/ride. But it was like, how much money did we raise? And then we all, like we said off the top here, started just pulling in more money and pulling in more money. And it was like everybody was coming together as one big family to make sure we just kept going. Now, after Wolfhead, go back to the hotel. And I know we went out that evening and just hung out a little bit, but it was the next morning where, when we took off to leave, people that I really didn't know. In fact, yeah, if I look at the group that I left with and I rode back to Toronto with, I didn't know any of those people before the ride. Yet before we all hit the road, it was like we had this open line of communication. Okay, where are we meeting? I got to top up gas. Okay, let's go. And everybody was just like one big group. And then here we are, we're riding across basically the highway at that point to get back home, and everybody's kind of staying together. Everybody's kind of communicating with each other. So even if you're looking, going like, I don't know anybody. Who am I going to ride with? What if this? Don't worry about it. We have an amazing, amazing group of people that are going to be here with us. Yes, I'm excited. Forgive me. I am. It's going to be awesome though, right? Totally.
And hey, if you think group rides are only for guys and women on cruisers with all their chrome and everything, and they're scary because you ride an ADV bike, you got knobby tires, I'll be there on the eastern route with no chrome, a bunch of mud on my bike that I can't get off of it. So even if you don't have a cruiser, any type of bike, just come, because it's about, as long, like, two wheels is two wheels, doesn't matter what the bodywork's doing. Just come and have a good time. Be in Val's family.
Listen, look, I still got like tar on the bottom of my pipes from riding up in the Yukon. So look, our cruisers get dirty too there, Ben. All right.
All right.
No, but jokes aside, you raise an amazing point. If you got two wheels, I mean, if you're riding a bicycle, I don't know if you'll keep up. But if you can find something that actually has an engine, we want you there. Okay, we totally want you there. Now, let's change that for a moment and say, what if people don't ride? Can they still get involved?
Yeah, give Absolutely. Money, but also you can, if you know someone who is riding. And
wait, money. Did we ask for money yet today?
I don't know.
Okay,
give the money. The link's there. But I mean, if you know someone who rides, they're not even a realtor, they have a bike and they want to be in a ride, and you want to ride on the back of their bike, get them to sign up and jump on the back of a bike.
But on top of that too, Ben, even if you don't know somebody that's in the ride, but you're listening to us and hearing this and have heard about it, reach out to the foundation, certainly in that link below, because there's many on the ride already that don't have a passenger with them. And yes, there are registrations for the passengers, but you can experience the adrenaline rush of even being on the bike if you've never done it before, because there's many who are riding that would be open to taking a passenger. So if you haven't got some, I'd love to have more riders. So absolutely, that's the first go-to. Let's get more riders in and ride on the back. But otherwise, if you're a passenger, reach out to the association, because I'm sure we can find you a rider.
And pretty inexpensive way to have a really fun, exciting day.
Think about that. That's a great point. Like, if you ever actually wanted to get on a motorcycle and experience what it's like to ride, I'm sure, like, first of all, you need to find somebody who's licensed, and then, go through that. And it could be really expensive. In this case right here, I mean, what, $100, and that gets you, being able to ride on the back of a bike, for an entire day, and stopping at all these fantastic places, and the networking opportunity. I mean, again, guys, like, look, being a passenger and or a rider, not that you could be both of them in the same day, but being part of it. Again, think about the networking. Think about the amount of people you're going to be meeting. Think about the referrals that can come from it after the fact. We're sitting here talking about raising funds and raising money for a cause. I tell you, to some degree, it's an investment for you. Just because you meet amazing people. Look at it like that too. If you're having any sort of thoughts right now and going, should I do this? Should I like spend some money on this? Again, you're not spending money, you're helping people.
Yep, you can't afford not to. And another ways to get involved too is just contact the Ontario Realtors Care Foundation and find out where the stops are on each route. If it's near you, if you're a realtor or just want to support, we're pulling in, just come down, cheer us on. And for your own feel the energy and get excited about it. And I do believe that realtors can purchase tickets for the event in Peterborough at the casino.
Oh, cool. So they can actually come and join us there.
Was talking about that she's going to go to that, doesn't bike or anything, but can get involved that way.
Look, there are a lot of ways to get involved in this ride right now, guys. There really is. And again, I dare I say, but I will usually say, I don't really hold back on these things. As we look around at our industry, and we look at the economy, which I kind of opened with earlier in the show, and we talked about how it has been more difficult for people just in general, not just in our industry, but industries across the board. People buying, selling, spending money. It's been a different year. It really has. But when you look at something like this and you think to yourself, I'm going to get involved. I'm going to do. I mean, we're seeing people leaving the business. We're seeing people that are struggling to do business. This is a perfect opportunity for you to really get involved and raise the level of awareness of our industry. Okay, so you look at the causes here. We're raising money for shelter in the communities in which we live and work. And when we think about live and work, as we work, we all know that as the world begins or continues to change and evolution happens to industries and businesses and technology does what it does, we as an industry, we will continue to remain relevant. And the way to do so is to continue to communicate with our people, your contact lists, the people within your community, the local shops that are around. And the more you're networking, the more people start to believe in you and who you are. Well, in comes this particular foundation, the Ontario Realtors Care Foundation, whose entire mission, again, is to raise money for shelter-related causes. It's helping us as an industry show the people that are not in the industry that we are an amazing industry, that we are amazing people, and we serve a purpose. And this, again, is exactly why we want you involved. When I look at the numbers from last year, I think last year we did, from what I understand, about $49,000. And of course, go big or go home, we're looking to go bigger this year. And our goal is $52,000. So it doesn't take a lot of people to help us get to that number, as large as it may sound. We've got an amazing collective of people within this industry, within Ontario. And I know there's people from beyond Ontario that are already supporting. We're asking everybody, wherever you are, get involved. Every little bit's going to count. That's going to help us hit our goal. And again, it's going to help us help others, and it's going to help us help ourselves. And that's not meant to be a self-serving comment, but that's meant to be very inclusive to the fact that we are all here together doing something together. And this is the power. This is the muscle that we have as an industry. This is the impact we can make. And again, this ride is a perfect example, a perfect opportunity for every single one of us. So again, realtorscareontario.ca/ride. Again, if you haven't yet, please, we're asking you, of course, all jokes aside, please get involved. Now, if people want to learn more, they want to sign up for the ride. I guess maybe I'm answering my own question here. I guess they just go to the website, guys?
Yep. Go to the website. It's super easy. The links are right there, whether you want to donate to the ride in general, whether you want to donate to a specific rider, or whether you want to just join the ride. All the links are right there. Big red buttons. Super easy. Even I could figure it out.
Val, what would you say to anybody who right now is contemplating, who's saying, well, I don't know if I want to get involved. I don't know if I want to ride, or, I hear them, but like, somebody else will donate some money. What would you say to that person right now, or those people?
There's no time to wait. Just do. It'll change your life in many, many ways, because if you wait, you'll never find out. You'll never know the difference it can make, not only in your life, but others' lives. Some of the changes we make in our own lives, certainly we make changes to help ourselves, whether it be professionally, personally grow. But some of the changes, I decide to make in my life are truly in order to help others. And if it helps others, then it does help me. So that would be my advice to anybody. You don't sit and wait. Let's just do.
I like that. I like that. Ben, what would you say if somebody said to you, I don't know. I mean, it's like when we say, turn off the lights. Don't worry about it. Everybody else leaves their lights on, or don't throw the gum on the street while everybody else is doing it. In this case here, it's like, somebody else will do the donation. What would you say to anybody right now?
David, I've had my entire life a lot of privilege in my life. I mean, I've privileged to have parents who didn't come from much, but worked really, really hard and brought me up that way. Various teachers, coaches, family. I am where I am and got to be where I am, which is happy in life, with the support of many, many, many people. A lot of people raise this barn. You can't do it yourself. And so, why should I then think that, well, someone else will do it? And, so you can't build shelter alone. Not one person can raise shelter. So we all need to get together and take the privilege we've had and push it somewhere else, to something like the Ontario Realtors Care Foundation. Because I'll go back to where I started, is shelter and secure housing is a human right. So getting money to people working tirelessly and often thanklessly trying to put safe roofs over people's heads. I mean, what's to think about?
That's a great point, man. What is to think about when we're helping people? I mean, and this is something, when we're doing our coaching, and I spend my days doing one-to-one coaching with my clients. And when we're doing that, I remember a couple of years ago, I was talking to somebody about, being grateful and practicing gratitude. And it's funny because sometimes people look and go, oh man, that's very like woo woo type stuff. Like, you're getting a little too deep for me here. And, I kind of looked at it and I said, but you got to write down the things that are good. You got to write down the things that are good in your life. You got to recognize them. Because, coming up the way, at least I know I came up, and never fed with a silver spoon, but I don't have some rags to riches story either. I'm fortunate to have been brought up well. I've been fortunate to have opportunity. I've certainly had to take advantage of my opportunities, but I've had. And yet here I am as this ambitious entrepreneur. And I know everybody tuned in right now is very much the same. You're ambitious. You want more. You want more to life. You want more to work. You want more money. But I also say, you can't just focus on the money that you want, right? Because if that's all you focus on, it's going to be a lot harder to get it. Instead, you got to focus on, what you have. And when I look at what I got, I'm very grateful. So here I am talking to a client about that one day, and I'm saying, you got to be grateful. And he's a little bit more pessimistic. And he says to me, I don't really have much to be grateful for. And I had to ask him, I said, like, do you have a roof over your head? And he said, yeah. I said, you got food in the fridge? He goes, yeah. So you got a car? He said, yeah. So you got gas in the car? Yeah. You could pay for the car and the insurance and the cell phone. And yeah, like, why are you asking me this? This is how in the world, when there are billions of people without fresh drinking water, there are billions of people who don't have a roof over their head. How in the world could you tell me you have nothing to be grateful for? And it kind of went silent for a second. And he stopped, and I could tell, and he was on the other end of the phone. It's a coaching call, but I could tell he was thinking. And I bring this story up for the three of us, but I bring this story up for everybody that's tuned in right now to really understand it, to really look internally for yourself right now and understand what you really do have. And how amazing of a feeling it is when you can actually sit back and recognize what you do have. And when you recognize what you have, and you can consciously recognize what many, many others don't have, It's not very hard to say, you know what can I do to help? In fact, it's an amazing, amazing feeling to be able to help. Internally, it gives you a sense of accomplishment, fulfillment, gratitude, to know that when you lay your head down, you did something good for somebody else. This is the concept of pay it forward. And look, guys, and forgive me, I'm on a rant now, but I'll tell you, like, I believe that there's a lot of people out there, unfortunately, that are very inconsiderate. Yet when you walk down the road and you smile at somebody, it's amazing how most times they will smile back. And this is the beautiful thing about motorcycles. Every time we ride down the road and we see another person on a motorcycle, we give them a wave. It always happens. It doesn't matter what kind of bike they're riding. You have no idea who they are. You're passing like two strangers in the night, but it's a, hey, what's up? Think about how many people do that in a car. We don't, unfortunately. But on this ride right here, you have the opportunity to do exactly that, to connect with people you don't know, to help somebody you don't know, to get involved and give yourself that good feeling, that happiness, to put just a little bit more happiness out there in the world. That's what we get to do on this ride right here. So again, we're asking you all, get involved, be part of this. And look, you want to go talk about it out there after, and you want to get on your social media. And I would tell you, build a little bit of MindShare. Let people know, hey, I feel amazing right now. I just took a moment to get involved in something. I don't even ride, and I decided to get involved in this. I decided to give back. And I got to tell you, it feels good. I promise you right now, you go and click that red button. Again, at www.realtorscareontario.ca/ride. You click that red button. You give what you can. We're not asking for everything you have, but you give what you can. You're going to feel really, really awesome about it. Val, Ben, forgive me, little tangent there, but it's our way of giving back right now.
Yep.
It is.
And before anything ends, David, and speaking of gratitude, thanks so much for giving your platform and your time
oh man,
to this
no
very worthy
It's
effort.
awesome.
So it's much appreciated.
Absolutely.
It's no thanks necessary. Honestly, it's thank you to you guys for being involved. Thank you, Val. I know how much you give back, and you're involved in everything, and just the community support. It's amazing to watch how much you do. And sometimes you wonder like how you even get so much done. Ben, the fact that again, I got to meet you last year. We got to hang out. We actually got to have a good time together and get to know each other. And we get to do it again this year. I'm really looking forward to it. I thank you guys for making the time to be here today and to share your experiences, because I think on behalf of the entire foundation, and all of us riders, this is part of us trying to, trying to get together and just get the word out. This is what we're doing and why we're doing it. It's for others. So, I guess before we sign off here, first I got to ask you both a question, which goes beyond just the ride today. Val, I'll ask you first, then Ben, I'll sort of ask you the same question here, but it's one that we feel is real important. We ask it at the end of every show. And I think it's a good one for everybody tuned in to really, just ponder. But Val, how do you know at the end of the day, how do you know it's been a successful day for you?
That's a very good question, and one that I think we should all think about every night, because honestly, that's not something I consciously think about every night. But consciously every night, I do think about the day, the goods and the bads that have come out of it. And truly, if every day I can say I have made a difference in someone's life, that someone might include me. It might include one of my children. It might include, my husband. But if I have made a difference in somebody's life, I have made a difference in my life. And that makes it much easier at the end of the day to call it a good day. And not every day is good. Life is life. Life throws us curveballs, but it depends on how we respond to that curveball. It depends on if we pick it up and throw it back and just, keep on going. I think that matters, and it does make a difference in somebody's life.
Love that. Ben, what about you, man?
Yeah, it's big, heavy at the end. The big questions. And I got a chance to think about it, and don't always, but it's a great question. And I'd say that at the end of the day, if I've accomplished the goals, whether big or small, partial or full, if I've accomplished the goals I set out that day, that's a very good day. Brings a lot of inner peace, and of course a sense of accomplishment. And that's not every day. Not every day is accomplished. But if I can then say, okay, I didn't do this, but I'll do it tomorrow, and this is when and why, then that's going to be a good feeling. That's a very good day. It doesn't happen all the time, but that's a great day. And whether that goal is for myself or for working with other people and for other people, but accomplishment brings happiness. Or that's all out the window, and I've had a good day because I've been on my motorcycle. Right. Could also just be that.
Like I could double down on that. Thank you both. Those are some fantastic answers. And I asked that question because it gets you thinking, it gets me thinking, and it gets everybody tuned in thinking. And I thank everybody who is tuned in, whether it's live or it is the recording right now. I really appreciate you listening to the MindShare podcast. It means an awful lot to me and to the entire community. So we are grateful for you. I do want to point out that this is episode 299, and we have asked that question 299 times. I'd say 300 since you both got I guess we've had some shows where we've had multiple guests. So it has been asked many, many times, hundreds of times. And here's what's really amazing that I've been able to do through my own R&D. There's not a soul, not a single guest that has ever answered that question where the word money has been used in the sentence when they're answering. I asked, how do you know it's been a successful day for you? Neither of you and nobody else has ever said, I made money. And I just think that's something that everybody's got to pay attention to. It's about helping. It's about giving back. It's about happiness. It's about a sense of accomplishment. It's about family. Val, any final words of wisdom to anybody right now about our motorcycle ride for charity that we're doing on September 12th to get people to get involved, to join us on the ride, to donate some dollars? Any final words, Val?
I would love to meet new people. I'm looking forward to meeting those I have met certainly over the years, but we can never have enough people join us and join in that connection. So don't wait, just do. And if you're thinking about it, if you want the experience, please come and join us, because it'll be worth it. And not only just for the experience of riding, but more importantly, you're going to be making a difference in somebody's life, not only your own.
I love it. Ben?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just do something. It's fun. You're going to benefit. Your communities will benefit. So again, win-win. Come out and ride, donate. Don't forget, both Val and I have pledged that we will, if you donate on our pages, we will match dollar for dollar up to $1,500. So between Val and I, that could be $6,000 towards our goal of over 50. So just, what Val said, do something. You can't afford not to.
Certainly cannot. I know that our total is growing, so I want to thank everybody very, very much for taking a moment. But that doesn't mean it stops. Obviously, many of you have been very locked into the show, so you haven't wanted to leave the show to go over and click the button. But we are going to ask you to go ahead and do that. Get involved. Definitely do so. Val, Ben, this has been amazing. This has been powerful. This has been super helpful. It's been informative. I cannot wait to see the both of you next week on the Motorcycle Ride for Charity.
So soon, but still far away. Can't wait.
Oh my God. Are we there yet?
Yeah.
Thank you both very, very much. We shall see you shortly.
My pleasure. Thank you for having us. Yeah.
Thanks.
You are either listening to this on one of your favorite podcast platforms, or maybe you went to my website, mindshare101.com. Again, please take a quick moment. Go to www.realtorscareontario.ca/ride to donate, and do it right now. As I've continued to say, every little bit counts. So we really are asking for your support. Please do so. Again, I can't say it enough. www.realtorscareontario.ca/ride. Big, small, any donation, super, super helpful. Get involved. Join us on the ride. It's going to be amazing. Also, of course, please don't forget to leave a review of this podcast at www.ratethispodcast.com/MindShare101. If we haven't yet, connect with me on Facebook and TikTok at MindShare101, and on Instagram at David Greenspan 101. I need and want to say a big thank you to Kits Keep in Touch Systems, REM Magazine, and of course, the ORCF, the Ontario Realtors Care Foundation, for sponsoring the MindShare podcast. This has been another episode of the MindShare podcast. Now, go make that donation. Thank you for tuning in.